Welcome, everyone. My name is Leon Garcia, and I am a proud member of the Choose to Change mentoring program. The Choose to Change mentoring program is a self supporting Christian based group supported by the Choose to Change Foundation. There is no fee to attend this class, but we do encourage donations from our members and to anyone else who believes in what we do. The only requirement for membership is a sincere desire to change your life. We are on a mission to restore families by inspiring, challenging, and equipping men to become better fathers, husbands, and leaders in our community. So if you are ready to change your life, then you are in the right place. Through this program, you will learn exactly where to start your life change journey, tools and resources to keep you going, and a support system to help you reach your goals. The Choose to Change mentoring program believes in three key principles of life. Number one, we believe in the life changing power of God through faith in Jesus Christ. Number two, we believe that God has already done his part and that it is your responsibility to learn to do your part. Number three, success or failure is a choice, and the choice is yours. So if you are ready, say, I am ready. Awesome, guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, out of your week to come out here and, listen to us. Those of you that are online, how you guys doing? Um, well, like you guys know, my name is Leon Garcia, and I've been coming here to Choose to Change mentoring program here with Orlando Salinas, which is the one that started all of this. And, that man has a lot to say. He's read a lot of books and studied a lot of things. So he basically read somewhere in all his reading material when he was locked up in prison about these steps, and these steps is what we use here at the Choose to Change Foundation to help you guys, so you can understand, how to get the results that we're looking for, because results is the name of the game, right? That's what Orlando tells us. So that's the name of the game, is the results. Where are we at? Where are we at over here? Our results. Are we being successful, or our results are down here? Normally Orlando has another little steps coming downward back to prison, you know. But normal people, they start right here like this guy. The normal people, normal people. Orlando says it like this: normal people are people that don't do drugs, they aren't alcoholics, they don't steal, kill, lie, and all of that good stuff. I mean, bad stuff, right? But none of that stuff. Those are normal people. We are these people down here. We're starting. We're starting in the bottom, in a hole, in a pit, and we gotta find our way out of that pit, by having a desire to change our lives and faith in Jesus Christ to do the right things. And with the desire and the faith, then our mindset. I know Orlando has already gone through all of these things, but our mindset has a lot to do with things. It's called that stinky thinking. Always going back to saying like, man, I did it this way, but let me try to do it this way. Always setting yourself up for failure, and our mind does that to ourselves. I know that when my mindset, when I first came in this class, I would be sitting back there and being like, man, what can this guy teach me? He's an ex-con just like me. ¿Me entiendes? He's an ex-con just like Echeverria and stuff, man. What can he teach me? ¿Me entiendes? And I was all like, man, until I started listening to what he had to say and all of these steps and thinking the way my mind was thinking, that really dictated my attitude. Now I had a bad attitude towards everybody. Nobody could tell me nothing because I knew it all. You know, my attitude was like that. So my habits, what were my habits? Was smoke weed, do drugs, get high, drink alcohol. Why? Because my attitude was already jacked up. Who cares what anybody tells me? I don't care if they can smell me smelling like marijuana. That's my cologne, I used to say. That's my cologne. ¿Me entiendes? No, you're wrong. ¿Me entiendes? We're wrong. We're twisted in our minds. We're twisted. We got it twisted. La La Land from all the drugs, right, Cheveria? So then our habits, from smoking cigarettes, from being late to places, from doing all this. That becomes our lifestyle. And our lifestyle, people already know because that ends up where we're at, where we're going to be talking about today, which is our results. Our results is from our being our lifestyle, our habits, our attitude, our mindset, and having our faith or desire, not being there. So then, what led me to prison was having a bad attitude. My habits were not good. Dealing drugs and all that kind of stuff. That was my lifestyle. People knew that when they saw me coming, hey, Leon has cocaine. Leon got it. Hey, necesitas unas libras de mota. Leon got it. ¿Me entiendes? Pregúntale a Leon. Leon sabe. That was my lifestyle. So the end results of that being my lifestyle ended me up in prison. Getting caught with marijuana in Austin, getting, different things for people not paying what they owed and going and kicking in their door, págame lo que debes. So that was the end result of my lifestyle. So right now what we're talking about is results. And the results, does anybody know what results means? Here I have the definition of results. Results is a consequence, effect, or outcome of something. It says here, results occur as a consequence of something. So, and that was a consequence. My results was a consequence of my lifestyle, was a consequence of my habits, was a consequence of my attitude, my mindset, and my faith and my desire, because I desired to do drugs when I was back then. I didn't, I always had it, so I just desired to do it. It wasn't something that I needed, I just desired to do it. And that's why the results is a big issue. And we can always reflect back to all of these steps, guys. It's just because our results isn't what we wanted it to be. Guess what? We don't have to say, "Oh man, that's it. I'm not gonna be able to change anything." We have to choose to change. So we come back and look. Come back. Where do we mess up? Did we mess up in our lifestyle, our habits, or our habits? Do we have to change something in our habits so that we can get a better result of life? Because results is the name of the game. What we want to do is be successful. I don't know if you see this guy right here. Look at this guy he got a suit on now, a briefcase. You know, back then I was probably carrying an HEB bag. Man, look at this guy over here. He's over here in a wife beater. With his mind stinky attitude. So that's what we gotta watch out for is the results, and our results will always take us back to the name of the game. To obtain something. That's what it means to obtain, to want. The fruit, like they say, the fruit of our labors. What we sow. Because this is all like what we sow. We sow bad seeds, we're gonna get weeds, right? You sow good seeds, you're gonna be able to get a good fruit out of it. And be able to do something with your life, and that's where the results come into play, guys. So then, you know that's basically really what it's all about is the results. Are you going to be able to do something with your life? Are you going to be able to change your life? See, because it's all a choice. Like I said, when I first came in here, I was back there where Rudy's sitting down. Thank you, Rudy, showing up. So that's where I was, and I had my mindset all messed up, guys. But now, by being able to realize where I went wrong and what I've been doing wrong, I end up getting these results. And I'm not saying that I get it right all the time, guys. ¿Me entiendes? I mean, I'm not perfect. Not my name would be Jesus Christ. ¿Me entiendes? But I mess up. So, and I have to look back like, okay, where did I mess up? Okay, my attitude was all jacked up that day. No wonder. No wonder, Did I pray in the morning? Did I do my prayer? If I didn't pray in the morning, man, everything goes wrong. The car in front of me gets in my way. My worker breaks something or loses something. Something always happens when I don't pray. And I try to come out here. I know I'm gonna have to try to come out here more, but I do pray when I leave from my house when I'm going to work. I'll pray. I'll have that little alone time driving. I even sometimes I even wonder, how did I get here? how did I get here already? I'm not even knowing if I passed the red light or nothing. I'm concentrating on praying, or just talking to God. But our habits, is that is because we're all creatures of habits. We always do things because it's a habit. Porque have you ever heard Ken dice, no, es que así soy yo. Es que yo me dicen algo y así soy yo, de volada así no contesto. And I've noticed that, recently that somebody tells me something and I don't like what they're trying to tell me, bro. I've noticed it out of habit. It's a habit that I have, I jump on them real quick, and plus I'm intimidating, I'm not a little guy, I'm a big guy. So, and then when I raise my voice, it's like intimidating people, and it makes them want not to tell me what's going to help me out. You know what I mean? So then that's out of habit. So I know I need to change that habit. I need to, and that's why I say we always can go back. We can always go back because the end result is that these guys don't tell me what's going on at work because they're scared that I'm going to jump on them. And then things didn't go the way they were supposed to go, because they're intimidated by telling me something, So that's where we stand on that, and our lifestyle. So that helps us a lot. Now my lifestyle now I believe is coming to church, trying to do what is right all the time. You know, like I said, guys, I'm not perfect, but I do expect a lot out of myself, my results. And the results are like Orlando. I know he had some goals. I don't know if he has it here, but there was a, it was a well he has. Let me see. He gave us these papers with goals to do, you know, um, and what were our goals, as far as financially, as far as spiritually, health wise. There was different goals that he had, certain areas, and what our goals were. Well, those are the end results. You know what I mean? Those are like right now. I know that my financial goal was, to give my 10% and save 10%. You know, and that so far is going real good. I give 10%, I save 10%, give 10%, save 10%. The other day I started looking to see how much I've saved, and I'm like, man, I used to spend a lot of money, like it's crazy. But you can live off of 80%, Once you tithe what is to God is God, and everything, then God's gonna give you more and He's gonna give you more. And that's where, that's the result. The result is that now I have money saved, just in case of a rainy day, because of the goal that I set. Um, I set another goal for health wise was to lose some weight and to be able to, to exercise more. So I do that. I lost some weight, but I gained some weight back. ¿Me entiendes? I went down from 44 to a 38, and now I went back up to the 40s because I didn't throw all the pants away, guys. So de repente, me como otro extra cheeseburger or algo, an extra couple of slices of pizza, and I'm too tired to work out. So, it's just the result, and what happened because I didn't keep that goal. I didn't keep pushing forward to that goal, plus I gained an extra two sizes in my pants. So that's what the results is. So then what is your end result? What is the results that you want in your life? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be, financially stable? Do you want to be a better father, a better husband? Because that's what we really were trying to do, is to become better men for our families. See, because our families need us to have good results, to be successful. Because how many of you guys in here have children? You guys have children? Children? Yes? How many of you guys want your children to end up in prison the way that we did? I know I do. I don't. ¿Me entiendes? So I'm trying to be a better person so that I can have better results of my life, so that I can be successful, so that my children don't have to go through that. So that my children can learn from my experiences, and be able to guide them and teach them the right ways. How to have a good mindset, how to have a good attitude, how to have good habits and a good lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to teach my children. you know like I said, I'm not perfect, but we always stumble, but we can always come back and say, where did I go wrong? That because our results is what we ultimately is what we want. Like Orlando says, it's the name of the game, our results. So then Our children, we have to teach them these things for what? So that their results can be good, so that they don't have to start in this hole where we started. You know, because it's tough. It's tough, man, to get. I mean, I know I've gotten out of prison, and I've gone in there. I've done four tours, four different separate occasions, man. Gone to prison, go to prison and lose everything. I'm talking about everything. ¿Me entiendes? All I come out with is that $50, and I have to go get the other $50 at parole. ¿Me entiendes? And with the clothes that they give you there, which is all jacked up. Probably come out with a wino still, los winos, ¿ah? Todavía sales con los winos, sales con los flip flops todavía de ahí, But so then, and you're in a hole. You're in a hole, and you're trying to get out of that hole, and it's hard because the parole officer is on top of you, and it's not the parole officer's fault. It's our fault. But we blame the parole. No, es que parole wants me to do so many hours, and wants me to do this, and wants me to do that, and I can't find a job because parole is on my back. Cause I'm on the monitor and they don't let me go. That's what I used to say. That's why I say that I know. I used to say it. I'm on the monitor. No me dejan salir. They don't even let me do this. They don't let me do that. You know, and it's not their fault. We put ourselves there, so we have to learn how to, do what they want. Because that's what's gonna end up getting us out of that hole. Once you can get out of that hole and say, okay, it is my attitude, it is my mindset, it is the way I'm thinking. What do I have to change to get these results, to get good results? You want money in your pocket all the time. You want to be a better father, a better husband. That's where it all starts. It all starts down here, but the end results is the name of the game. Any questions? Anybody got something they want to say online, brother? Nada. Okay, go ahead, Rudy. So then, while Rudy's looking for that, then you know, so then our attitudes too. You got a stinky attitude, stinky thinking, stinky attitude. Because of the stinky thinking, you got a stinky attitude. Nobody wants to be around you. You go to look for a job, and you go in there the way a lot of these guys go around with their pants hanging down. Acá abajo. Todos. Walking 2 to 3 with a slow limp, ¿me entiendes? Como si muy gangueros, ¿me entiendes? Hey, grow up, ¿me entiendes? Um, they want to do that kind of stuff, to go look for a job. The attitude that you're going to go look for a job, you're not going to get a job. Your PO is going to be on your back because you got that attitude that can, no, que yo todavía, ¿me entiendes? ¿Qué onda? No, you get in there, go presentable. I'm not saying to wear a suit and tie, better go presentable, clean yourself up, go in there and talk to them, yes sir, no ma'am, show that you got that you want to be better yourself, because they already know you've been locked up, and you'll be surprised how many people want to give you a second chance. We had a job fair here not too long ago, second chance job fair, and man, there was so many people out here looking for people to give them a work. They were giving you work on the spot. I think the highest paying jobs were like $18 an hour, brother, something like that, $17 an hour. Highest paying jobs that were here, and they were giving you as the per diem and everything for you to go and work with them. They were giving you money just to sign up to go and work with them, and they would give you a bonus, sign-on bonus. And there was people here, here locally from the valley, that were willing to give offenders a second chance. Ay, offender. Yo me acuerdo cuando I first got there to prison, man, they called me an offender. I said, "Espérate, wait a minute, I'm not an offender. You got me all jacked up. I'm a convict." No, they changed the name on todos esos jales, pero yeah, it freaked me out. Pero they want to give offenders a second chance. They want to give you a second chance into life, into being able to be a productive member of society. I never thought that I would be able to say something like that, but now I have become a productive member of society. I helped my uncle. I went and took some classes and to get my irrigator license. Because I wanted better results. I wanted more pay. I wanted more of this. So then I went to go get these. I went to go take these classes, and I did the classes. I took the test, and I passed the test. What is very amazing about that is that I put my mind to it. ¿Me entiendes? I put my mind to it, and I said, I can do this. My attitude was, I can do it. You know, and my habits were to study for this test. And that was my lifestyle. That's all I was thinking. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this because I need this license. So that license, guys, people straight out of college try and take that class and they can't even pass the tests. Guys that do nothing but that. I have an eighth grade education. That's as high as I went, was to the eighth grade. That's the highest grade I ever completed, was eighth grade. In prison, I had to get my GED because they send you to classes. If you don't have your GED, they send you. So I got my GED in prison. But the highest class that I ever took out here was up to eighth grade. No college courses, no nothing, and only about I think they say it's like 40% of the people that take the test pass the test. And 10% of the people pass it the first time. So out of 100 people, only 40 people would pass it, but only 10 would pass it the first time. I passed it the first time, that test. I didn't even know that I knew math that much. Bro, there was numbers coming out of my head. ¿Me entiendes? It's crazy. But like I said, you put your mind to it and your attitude changes and you're trying to focus on your habits, you'll always get good results. You know what I mean? And sometimes like I say, you might stumble and come down, but always look back and say, hey, where did I go wrong? What do I have to change in my life? Because remember, it says you have to choose to change. This is the name of the organization, Choose to Change. We have to choose to change to do better, you know? And just because you don't get it right the first time doesn't mean that you can't do it all over again and try it again. And do it all over and try it again. So then, that's the name of the thing. And I know Orlando gives these 90-day challenges to succeed. And on here it says, I will make no excuse and will take full responsibility for all of my actions. By committing to this mentorship program, I am saying that I am ready to change my life and I will do whatever it takes to do so. See how we have to do it. Orlando says that he wanted to change and he didn't care who he had to kill to change his life. And he didn't care who he had to kill. Well, who did he have to kill, guys? Do you know? Yourself. You said it. Yourself. You got to kill your own self to succeed. Because we are twisted in our minds. Like Orlando says, we're in la la land, twisted, jacked up, and we need to learn how to change all of those things. We have to kill ourselves. And he says here, I will follow the advice of my mentor to the best of my ability. I understand that it is not my mentor's responsibility to keep up with me, but that it is my responsibility to keep up with my mentor. I believe that ACDC, Orlando, man, accountability, consistency, discipline, and commitment are the keys to success in any area of my life. Accountability, consistency, discipline, and commitment are the keys to success in any area of our lives. We have to be held accountable for our own actions, our own because of what we do, our actions. Accountability, consistency. If you consistently do something for 90 days, guys, it becomes a habit. If you do something for 90 days, every day, for 90 days, it becomes a habit. Orlando started doing this. He said he started getting up because he wanted to be healthier. He says that he didn't like to wake up early in the morning, but he would turn on the alarm, poner el alarm, and the alarm would go off and he would get up, sit down in bed, and then lay back down and go to sleep. And that's what he started doing. And he kept doing that, and he kept doing that, and then he would put on his shoes, go to the restroom, come back, lay down, and go to sleep. For about a week or so. Then the next week, he said he started going outside of the house, walking to the street, coming back, going back in there, into the house and going back to sleep. But he was doing something. He was doing something consistently. He was getting up consistently at a certain time so that he can start to walk. Now he walks for a couple of miles, I think he says, He can go walking. He wakes up in the morning, takes off, does his morning walk, comes back, and starts his day off. But it was something that he consistently had to do. So if you consistently do something, it becomes a habit so that you can get better results. Discipline. We need to discipline ourselves. A lot of times we're like, you know, man, I can really take a bump right now. I can really smoke a joint right now. ¿Me entiendes? But we have to discipline ourselves. No, you can't do that because you do that, then you're going to jack up everything with parole. Come out dirty on a UA. What happens? Right back into the hole where we start to get out of. We have to discipline ourselves not to do things or discipline ourselves to do better things. So it goes either way. And a commitment. We have to commit ourselves to doing these things all the time, to be able to be consistent with something, commit ourselves. And that's what's going to ultimately give us our success. This is the commitment I make to myself and to my mentor. And then it says, number one, I will call my mentor every day before 9 a.m. after I had read something in the Bible. And you can start with Proverbs. It says, attend Sunday service and attend Wednesday service at night. Attend every Choose to Change mentoring class. And that's the 90-day challenge, guys. I don't know if you guys have signed that challenge or not, but I don't know if I have some extra ones here. We can get you some, and if you guys decide you guys want to sign this 90-day challenge to make something to help you guys get a better habit, then we'll get you that paper that you need so we can do that. So I don't know. Would you like to take the 90-day challenge, brother? Brother, would you like to take the 90-day challenge? See? Yeah. That way, no. When you got the time, then you let us know. But that's the name of the game, brothers. The results. Brother Rudy, did you get that picture? You find what you needed? A ver, do you need this? I don't know. Right now, huh, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. It's true, you know, because we come in here broken. We come in here, and it's hard. Like I said, like when I was sitting back there. Yeah, yeah. Because it's a process, brother, to change your life. Yeah, yeah. Because I ended up going back in the blue board four times. I mean, I did it, and I know what he's talking about. I didn't want that. I didn't want that change. I didn't want that process. Yeah, free ride, free bunk, free food. ¿Me entiendes? But I didn't want, like brother says, I was that stubborn person that I didn't want that process of change. And it is better for us to raise our children, in the right way than have them become broken the way we have been broken, or that I have been broken. Rudy Cheverria, messed up, jacked up, but now we know what's better for our lives. We know that we can only do this through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, which gives us the strength, the willpower, and all of that to be able to continue to press forward no matter what obstacles are brought upon us in front of us. We're always going to strive to do what is right, what is better. Um, but any comments, questions? Anything on there? Well, guys, that's basically what I got for you guys. What the end of the game, what the name of the game is. The name of the game is the results and how we can become successful in life. So we need to learn all of these things. If you want to take a picture of it and to write them down, and look back when your results or what's happening in your lives and look into it, and that's all it takes. But it all starts right here. These two right here is where it all starts. A desire to want to change your life and to become a better person, a better father, a better husband, a better leader in our community. That's where it all starts. You have to have that desire to change. If you don't have a desire to change, como dice Rudy, I thought Bluebird, it's waiting for you. Those guys are always waiting for you. The light never turns off in the prison system. I know if you guys have been there, yeah, we'll leave on the light. We'll leave the light on for you. Como que dice Motel 6. Pero esos son, ¿cómo se llaman? Los Alpha, Delta, Echo, Bravo sections will never turn off their lights for you guys. So then, that's the name of the game. Is the results? That's the name of the game. But for right now, if we're gonna pass around the donation bucket. For those of you that want to donate, and believe in what we do is we go into the prisons to empower men to become better fathers, leaders, and husbands that we have been called to be. We've been called to be this by God Almighty to begin with. You know, Echeverria, I, um, so then that's that to begin with. And if we're not there for our families, if we're not there for our children, then you know who is gonna be telling them what to do? Somebody's out there is gonna be telling them what to do. Somebody out there is gonna be whispering in their ear, "Hey, do this. Hey, do that." And if we don't man up as men to be able to guide our children the right way, then somebody else will. ¿Me entiendes? But that's what we do. We go into the prisons. We empower men to become better fathers, husbands, and leaders in our community. We take them books. There is some shirts out there también, like this one, and there's other shirts there too that Orlando has with his saying that he says, "I'm going to the top." You know why we're going to the top? Because it's too crowded at the bottom. There's too many people down there, man. Because that's all they want to do. That's all they want to do. They don't want to change their life. They don't want better results. They want nothing but handouts and people to be helping them all the time. It's crowded down there. And we need to be able to better ourselves. You know, and so then, guys, I leave you with that, and thank you guys for coming. See you guys next week. Thank you.